the button. We are live. We've done it, Charlie. We've done it. Okay.
I'm excited.
Well, hey everybody, it's Silver-Haired Bronze Age Babe here, yakking about our comics, and I am joined by a very special guest, which is my nephew, Charlie Dirks. And say hello to the people.
Hello, how are you doing, everybody? I'm glad to be here today and with all my Star Wars things about our conversation today. So,
and tell the people who introduced you to Star Wars at such an early age.
It was my Aunt Sarah.
That's right, and with a great assist from his mom, my sister. So yes. I cannot take sole credit for this, but
it was fun.
Yeah, we are a Star Wars family. So what we wanted to do today is to get together and show off some of our Star Wars collectibles. And then we're also going to talk about the movies and TV shows and what we like and what we're looking forward to. But before we do that, Charlie, let's go through the chat here. And
I'd love to read some of these.
Yeah, Signature King, hello, good to see you. Comic Nerds, only here. Yep. Psychedelic Comics, thank you. Thank you so much for spending your morning, or as you say, almost noon, with us. Luxinda Swirl. Now, Charlie, you don't know this, but you met Luxinda Swirl.
When I was watching one, I believe.
Yes. You were in diapers. And
yes.
So she's a longtime friend, and she came and spent some time and talked to your mom about what it's like to raise boys. So so obviously she's a fan of yours, I can tell. And Psychedelic Comics, hey, we already have a question.
I saw this.
Okay, well, I'm going to start on how and when I got into comics. I got into comics more than 50 years ago. I got in when I was like 10. So I've been doing this a while.
Yeah, and I kind of want to say, and like, I kind of found comics. Obviously, my Aunt Sarah sent me some, but I also really enjoyed watching the Star Wars and all the Marvel movies. I'm a big fan of both of those, and I'm a little bit into DC. You know, I saw the Snyder Cut and then all the DC movies, so you know, I'm excited for the DC movies too. But then I really got into just some comics, and I have a bunch of comics. And I'd love to talk about it.
Great. We'll start on that after we say hi to Sprocket Kid. Hello. Thank you for joining us. We're thrilled you're here. Okay. So because this is a comic book channel, Charlie, I'm going to start my part of the show and tell with some comics. And I'm coming out with, this is an old one that I bought recently, but let me make myself big so everybody can see it. There I am. This is the Treasury edition of the Marvel Star Wars. And I think they had 3 of these come out. And they're hard to get. So I've just basically stopped at 1.
Yeah.
But it's cool. It's an official adaptation of the first movie. So that's what that is. And then I have now the Marvel Comics people and DC have done this as well, where they're coming up with reprints or facsimile editions of famous books. And so this is a facsimile. You can tell by the fact that it's $3.99, which is $4. It wasn't that when it first came out, but I had to get it because, you know, hello, Star Wars. And
Star Wars.
Finally, this is the big kahuna from my collection. This is the first issue of, what's the title of the series, Charlie? The ones I gave you.
Is it War of the Bounty Hunters?
War of the Bounty Hunters, thank you.
Yeah.
So this is a variant edition for the first issue that Neil Adams did. And you can see that it's signed by Neil Adams. So this is a treasured item, and I am thrilled to have it. And I don't have a lot of, believe it or not, even though it looks like there's tons of comics back there. That's it. I don't have a lot of comic books. devoted to Star Wars. There's other
Yeah.
stuff. So so that's my oh, before we go, Sprocket Kid. Charlie, this is another friend that you haven't met, but she's one of my camp buddies.
Yeah.
So, Struby, thanks for joining us.
And is there David's comment?
Oh, David, there we go.
Yeah, David's here. Yeah. So we know David. He's one of my best buddies from a long time. Aunt Sarah knows him.
I used to call him Baby. I used to call him Baby Dave, but I'm not allowed to do that anymore. Yeah. So it's like, hi, David. Yeah. See, it hurts to say that.
It hurts.
Let me introduce you, Charlie, to the Gray Man. The Gray Man. Yep, the Gray Man lives in England. So we have friends from all over.
Yes.
And speaking of friends from all over, Werewolf by Lunchtime is a friend who lives in Australia. And so I think it's a normal time of day for him to actually watch. Usually when I do live dives at 5, it's like, 5 a.m. for him. Yeah. So Werewolf, it's always good to see you. Psychedelic Comics. Did I join the Star Wars fan club like I did? I did not. I wish I had, but I wasn't able to do that. And Werewolf is in my wheelhouse. I saw Star Wars in 1977. I'm a originator. You and me too. Remember, it was amazing and changed lives. It did. And that's why we're here to talk about it. Dr. Mad Studio. I love it. That's a heck of a great name. And look at that.
Yeah.
That's nice.
It's like a Michael Myers Yoda. I love it.
Okay. And let's see here. Right. To be a Star Wars fan, you needed to see it when it came out. Nothing like it at the time. 10 times. Yes. Charlie knows that I will bore anyone with, would you like to hear about when we saw it live in the theater for the first time? So I won't do that here. Rather, I will turn the screen over to Charlie and let him show a few of his collection. So go ahead, show me what you got.
So these actually came from Aunt Sarah. This is the only way you could get comics. She sent me these a long time ago, and they're great. She kind of introduced one of the original ones earlier, but it's the War of the Bounty Hunters collection. You can see there. I don't know if the camera. Star Wars War of the Bounty Hunters. It's kind of hard to see.
It's backwards. Yeah, I know. And make sure, she says, inserting herself into everything you're doing. The first two issues go together.
Oh,
the covers, right?
Yeah, you're right. They do. They do.
Yeah.
This way.
There you go.
So I have all 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of the War of the Bounty Hunters, and they're something that I like. Especially they were given to me in the cover, and I like that. But I enjoy them. We have this. I show the first two. Scoundrels Ball. We have this one with I like this one, Boba and Vader, kind of back to back like that.
Very
Sorry
cool.
about the reflection. Just got the.
That's the thing on all these live dives and all the YouTube channel stuff. I've learned that you basically stop asking for forgiveness for the glare because it just is. So.
Then we have this one. It's hard to see. It's Boba. Attack at Dawn.
Mm-hmm.
This one's a good one. And then my last one is this one with him just kind of in the
just a pose.
Yeah, kind of a pose.
Yeah.
And so these are nice. I enjoyed seeing them. I enjoyed having them. So,
did those set up the Bounty Hunter show?
I don't know.
She says, I'm not sure. Because there is a different. There's a show. It's not just the Mandalorian. There's another bounty. It's the Boba Fett show. Is what I'm.
Book of Boba Fett. I kind of looked at I kind of just did my research before the show. Kind of looked into the bounty hunters a little bit. Obviously, I knew it was just going to be a little bit of more how Boba got out, which that first scene was great, by the way. But and how Boba got out, how he got to where we saw him in the Mandalorian.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay. Cool.
But anyways,
all right. There's them's your comics. Now I'm going to show off. Make myself big. Someday, Charlie, you'll either inherit this or have to figure out how to get rid of it.
Oh god.
This is a box that says vintage Star Wars toys.
Ooh.
Now, you would think that, my gosh, you're going to be rich. But anyone who's watched my comic book channel knows that I treat my toys about as well as I treat most of my comics, which is, oh no, they're out of the box. They are, they're well loved. And this one, I don't know if you should tell your mom, but I think I stole this one from her.
Oh.
Sorry.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah, come on. But like this is an original Obi-Wan.
Oh yeah.
See? Now, I did for all the folks in the chat, I did not buy these originally when the movies came out. I mean, I was 16, I wasn't the notion of getting toys was not really high on my list. But when Charlie and his sister came along, I was like, it's going to make me the coolest aunt in the world is having Star Wars toys. And so I went on a binge. And so I ended up getting a lot of these things. Several of them were original Kenner toys. And so and then I also got a set, not even a set, I got a bin full of other toy action figures. It was mostly from the Phantom Menace, and and a lot of other stuff in it, and it was worth $100. And so it was that, and I pulled like stuff that I think was original out of that. And I will admit that some days I do just pull these out and play with them just because I like them.
Yeah.
So I mean, tell them true, Charlie. When you came over as a little kid, did I not have the greatest Star Wars toys?
Yeah, it was a great. I saw the table just full of things, and it's just, oh my lord. Because you actually have like the full-on clone trooper helmet. I just have like the front mask, and I always love the full-on helmet you could put on.
Yeah, and that came in that $100. I mean, that thing was the gift that keeps on giving. So, so I've got wonderful toys from back when. I gotta say, this dude, it's a trap.
It's a trap.
So there is like all things in my collection where there's it's in multiple spots in the house. There is a spot that has a little box that says the vintage toys. And I love having them. And
so you have the silver leg like the first shot, or no?
No.
That would be original.
Yeah. So let us point out BB-8 and look at his hat. So
I got plenty of the BB-8 things here.
Yeah.
I got a lot.
Okay, well, speaking of stuff you've got, let's make you big.
All right. We can get into some figures. I have some Lego figures that I built. We have Rey's speeder. Rey fully on in her speeder in a Legos. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, and funny story, I actually had to take a piece off of this and put it on a different build. I have no idea where on the build it is, but I had to take it off. It doesn't seem to affect it and it also has like a functioning door here.
Oh, neat.
Store stuff. Yeah. So there's that one. And then I have a little Lego TIE Fighter. And these things have like actual shooters. You can actually shoot it and it comes out. It's really cool. And it's very cool. So this is a TIE Fighter, and you can change the wings. So you can have this, or you can have the classic TIE Fighter straight up, however you want it. And it's very cool. Yep. And if we want to get into figures here, I have a couple Fop figures that I collected. We have Finn, right
There you go. That's
There
a
you
good, yeah. Let's
Yeah.
see him.
And then we have a First Order Stormtrooper. And a rare one is the Death Star droid.
Oh, really?
And yeah. No, I can't seem to find anybody really with these. And this one's actually a different BB unit. This is one that we see in The Last Jedi, BB-9E, to help them track down.
Oh.
Yeah. And then, of course, the other BB unit, we have BB-8, classic one.
Mm-hmm.
And then my last pop figure is Snoke.
Oh, neat. Okay.
Yeah. And then my last action out of figures is just Kylo Ren one that I accidentally took out of the box.
Yeah,
but
well.
it's a nice little Kylo Ren figure. It's very detailed.
You know what? Let me get up and show you when you're on that action figure. Just hang on one sec.
Always.
Let me get myself into this. There I am. Speaking of action figures, also, I know, also in that $100 box was this. And I decided to keep it in the box.
That's the fake Amidala.
The fake Amidala.
Yeah.
And I gotta say, it's very ornate. It really is. And you went with us, didn't you, Charlie, when we saw the Star Wars
Museum?
At the Detroit Institute of Arts.
Yeah.
And when you're able to see the costumes that close, right up, it's amazing stuff. It really is. And yay this. So
yeah. And I have one more thing that I kind of just put next to my figures. It's just kind of like a little, name tag you have on your desk, but it's like Star Wars themed.
Mm-hmm.
And it was actually only $1 for this up at our house in Escoda. But it's who's the more foolish, the fool or the fool who follows him. That's Obi-Wan Kenobi's quote in the first movie. I was like, well, that's $1. I'll take that. So I thought that was very interesting.
Cool. Before I get back to what I was going to talk about, I have to say to a friend of mine who is Han Solo. I screwed up. And I need to send you to YouTube. Go to YouTube and type in silver-haired Bronze Age babe. And on my channel, you should see us talking. So do that. I sent you the wrong link. And my apologies. Wait. Werewolf, are you saying you had this? No, that's not Ray. That's something else. So, okay.
Yeah, that's cool.
Let me go make myself big to show you. There we go. So much time. Here's something else that I have in my collection that it's unusual. Do you have any idea, Charlie, what this might be?
I mean, I see this, the New Hope cover originally from 77.
Yep.
It says trilogy on it.
Yep.
So
this is a collection of music CDs.
Oh, is this like the soundtrack?
It is the complete soundtrack performed by the London Symphony Orchestra of the original trilogy.
That is very cool.
It's very cool. And what's super neat about it is that it comes with this nifty book that's kind of its liner notes, wherein John Williams talks at length about each of the musical cues and each of the themes. And you get a lot of really cool artwork in this thing. It is tremendous. And I can't wait to share this with you, Charlie. In fact, happy birthday, maybe, because Charlie, what you don't know is Charlie's a musician. And he, I think the only reason he took band is because he could learn how to play the Star Wars theme on any instrument he was given, and in true, he does. So this is a really, I don't see it a lot. I don't hear people talking about it a lot, but it's very cool. And the artwork is nifty. And for those of you who don't know what CDs are, it's an old way we used to listen to music.
Yeah.
So Psychedelic Comics knows what I'm talking about. I had that CD trailer, but did not survive the recent purge. Purges are dangerous. So there you go. And Werewolf agrees with me that John Williams is indeed a legend. And
he does music for a lot of well-known songs. Star Wars, Jurassic Park, this goes on and on.
My favorite thing to do with movie scores, particularly John Williams scores, is put them on the stereo and play them so loud that it rattles the windows. But maybe that's just me. Okay, Charlie, what else you got, brother?
Well, I have a lot of things. I kind of just pulled this one out. It's an RCBB8 that actually moves with magnets. I thought it was very cool.
Nice.
The remote does not seem to be working. It doesn't seem to be going forward, but it's just very nice. There goes his head. But, it's a cool little BB-8.
Okay.
Maybe I could dive into some masks or helmets. Is that all right?
Please do. Yeah. Show the people what you got.
So first is this is my first one that ever came. It came with a blaster. I think it's in here. I'm not sure. But the Clone Trooper.
Mm-hmm.
Clone Trooper helmet. Like I said earlier, you have the full-on one that you stick on all over your head, but this one just goes on the front of your face.
Yeah.
And it's got some. I think if I turn it on here, let's see if it works. Yeah, it probably doesn't work, but it used to have some commands on there.
I was going to say it talked at one point.
Yeah, but it didn't quite work. This is from a costume. It's not very comfortable, but it's a Luke Skywalker pilot helmet.
Nice. Did you have the rest of the outfit when you say
the outfit's somewhere in a costume box downstairs?
Okay.
But and then my last helmet I have is the Kylo Ren. This one still works. Like if you talk into it, it translates. It still works.
Nice.
It's very cool. I enjoy it. Sometimes I still put it on.
Well, yeah. Well, I dare you to go to school like that.
Yeah.
Seriously. Comic Bookworm, by the way. Hello. It's good to see you, Naaman. The vinyl records, they were so incomplete. It just had kind of highlights. And so having the entire score at the ready is neat too. So, okay. So here's something that I don't know. Charlie, I don't know if you're going to right off the bat know the significance of this.
Okay.
This is an ad that ran in 1983 for this film. Do you see?
I see the problem. I see the problem.
Why don't you tell the people what the problem is?
I believe it is Revenge of the Sith and not Revenge of the Jedi.
Nope.
Wait,
we got you. This was for Return of the Jedi.
Oh, it was. It's the other way around. Okay.
Yeah.
And I forgot they put the Revenge of the Sith fight on the Return of the Jedi cover.
That's right. So the significance of this little, I think it's a lithograph, is that the original name of Return of the Jedi was Revenge of the Jedi. When they were filming it, they were calling it Revenge of the Jedi. And they had ads mocked up for it. They had posters ready to go. They had film crew jackets of that. And it was only at the last minute that they decided that, oh, this is it really Star Warsian to have revenge? Because, and how about, so they turned it to Return of the Jedi.
Yeah. They also don't want a repeat of having revenge as the 2 movies in a row, having it the first word,
Well, and I think that's why when they did the second trilogy, which was actually the prequel, I think they felt fine to use Revenge of the Sith at that point, because Sith and revenge go together. Revenge and Jedi does not sound cool. So this is a fun thing to have because it was not a thing, but the art is cool and it's fun to have that. So, and I had it framed for the longest time, but I needed to borrow the frame for something else. So, but it's here in the box marked Star Wars collectibles. It's up in my attic in case anything happens to me. You have immediate access to it. So there you go. All right, what else you got, Charlie?
Well, I have this poster that it's kind of newer, but it's a scene from The Last Jedi. Let me
let me make you big. Sorry about that.
Yeah, Revenge of the Jedi. Or no, I just said that, but it's Last Jedi. And this actually was given to me before the movie came out. So this is kind of a spoiler, because this is the scene where Kyle blows up his ship, and you're like, this was given to me before the movie. Huh. So it's very interesting. This was
How'd you get it? Who gave you that?
You may have given that to me.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Me?
I mean, it is Toys R Us, so we used to go to Toys R Us.
Oh, you know what? You're right. Yes. Not that I'm a soft touch, but I'm kind of a soft touch. So, yeah. All right. Now I'm going to show some stuff that will segue us into a discussion of the films and the TV shows. So, back in olden times, besides you having to go to a movie theater again and again, then in the 80s came something called videotapes. And so you were able to buy these things and own the movie, which was so cool. Now, the reason I'm showing you Return of the Jedi is because this particular edition, you can tell by the red corner up there, that is the first one that ever came out. The original issuance of a Star Wars on VHS is red. I had your mom and me and Grandma Snyder too. For some reason, Christmas at our house involved watching Star Wars movies. I don't know why, but we had all 3 of them, and we wore the A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back out in terms of that edition. Now, if you have these originals and if they happen to be sealed, like if you worked at a Blockbuster or something, you'd have like $600 or $1,000 or something. They're really collectible these days. So, but I like having it because it looks cool on a shelf, and the subsequent designs for other VHSs, they're okay.
Yeah.
But for a purist and for those of us elders, and some people on the chat know what I'm talking about, this isn't Star Wars. This is Star Wars. So,
and I do have. Yeah. Oh, go on. Go ahead.
Well, I got one more thing in terms of how to watch these films. Now, George Lucas was infamous for getting in there and mucking around with his movies. So as technology would advance, he would add more computer-generated stuff, and he'd fix things that he didn't like. And so it was very hard to find copies of the original films as they came out in the theaters in 77 and 80 and 83, except for this set of DVDs.
I believe we have?
I
Something
think
like
you
that.
guys do.
Yeah.
Because, and the reason they're cool, and look for the gold label.
Yeah.
Because the reason these are cool and you want to have them versus other editions is because they give you 2 DVDs.
Yeah.
One of them has the absolute original theatrical release. No screwing around with any technology, no screwing around with any story plot points, and some of you know what I'm talking about. And also, if you want to watch, George Lucas screw around with effect and all that kind of stuff. But these are the ones to have because it's like you were going to the theater in 1977 and seeing it for the very first time. So them's what I got on how to watch Star Wars the right
And I
way.
have one more section before we talk. It's probably my favorite section, the saber section.
Oh yeah, Charlie's.
So I love sabers. Most of these come from Aunt Sarah. This one doesn't work anymore. I'm sad because it's one of the good ones. Return of the Jedi, Luke Skywalker, his own build, with his lightsaber, and then we have one of my favorites as well. Is of course the double-bladed Darth Maul, which was given to me by Aunt Sarah herself, and it comes out both ends. And it's really cool. I mean, come on.
Can't beat that.
You can't beat that. Let me see. This one's a special one because I liked it because it was holdable and it's retractable like this and it comes down like this and it's got a little clip here. You can hold it onto yourself.
Onto your belt. Yep.
Yeah, like a belt thing. And then my last one is actually my most recent one. This comes from, let me see if this works. I know why. There we go. All right, now it should work. I got technical difficulties. But,
thank you, Caleb. Appreciate it.
All right, there we go. So this is the Darksaber, which we saw in the animated series, and the Mandalorian end of season 1 and season 2. We saw this Darksaber. We know how it works. If you win it in combat, you rule Mandalore, which we will explore in the upcoming season 3. Can't wait for that. We'll dive into that.
Yep.
But yeah, this is very cool. And it works. And it also kind of retracts. It doesn't go all the way. I don't know how I feel about that. But that's my lightsaber section.
Well, there you go. That is, not only does he have a good collection of lightsabers, he knows how to.
Yeah, I can
do that. Yeah, I mean it's amazing.
And now I have a real sword. I have a real sword now that I got from Spain.
Oh, that's right. That's the one that his father said, should I be worried that Charlie has a real sword? Well, I would be, given I've seen how he can spin a lightsaber. Yeah, he tried to teach me how to do that. I was getting there. Yeah. And I'm not giving up. So at some point,
the popular one is
learn how to do it.
The popular move is the one in the battle in Revenge of the Sith between Obi-Wan and Anakin when they do the whole thing behind their back thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I can do that one, but
nice. Well, and that music cue, speaking of John, is phenomenal. I actually have
great.
Yeah.
Duel of Fates.
Yeah. Which brings us to the movies. So, yes. Charlie, let's talk movies first. Which of all those theatrical films, which ones do you like the best? You don't have to pick a one, but what ones do you get the most enjoyment out of?
Yeah. We will never talk about sequels in this. I like seeing the movies in theaters. It's just, I don't know, especially when they changed directors in The Last Jedi. I didn't feel it was great, but we're talking about great movies here. And the original trilogy, all three were great. You know, Return of the Jedi has to be my favorite out of the original trilogy. Empire Strikes Back is a popular one too. Okay. It's a good one. And then the prequels actually are pretty. I like the prequels. Revenge of the Sith is a great movie. I feel that Hayden Christensen and Ewan McGregor did a great job. All the actors, it was phenomenal. I'm glad George Lucas got to do it. and I thought it was a great movie. But my favorite of them all, I have to say, Return of the Jedi. I thought it was a great movie.
Outstanding. You know, I like that you're giving some love to Revenge of the Sith because, so if you were to ask Aunt Sarah, like, what's your all-time favorite Star Wars movie? It used to be Empire Strikes Back. But now, if I could only watch one ever, I'd say A New Hope. But there is a special place in my heart for Revenge of the Sith because, like you say, the interactions between Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen, particularly at the end, when they're in the fires of hell, and Obi-Wan is saying, "I failed you, Anakin. I failed you." It guts me every time.
Yes. So many photos and like little memes of just saying me watching Revenge of the Sith, hoping Anakin doesn't turn to the dark side.
Right. Exactly.
Every time you rewatch it, you're just like hoping it doesn't turn to the dark side. No, don't do it.
Yep. Exactly. And I know you and I talked when The Last Jedi came out. We had a family meeting about that film, and we all kind of agreed that it was very disappointing and all that. I will say that I have rewatched it since, and I'm changing my mind about it a little bit. I still don't think Luke would ever have gone down that kind of path relative to Kylo Ren. However, what I admire about it is that director Rian Johnson kind of wanted to change things up in the galaxy. You know, do you have to be related to any of these big players in order to be a Jedi? You know, he brought that question in, and I don't feel as negatively about it as I used to. So yeah, I'm a New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, and I have a really warm spot for Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah, and we forgot to talk about Rogue One. I mean, that's a
you're
fantastic
right.
movie.
It really is. It's that's one of the DVDs I kept because I was doing a purge too.
Yeah,
and one of the DVDs I kept is Rogue One. And now, which brings us to the TV shows. I tried to watch Andor, which is like the prequel to Rogue One.
Yeah.
And I have to say, I fell out of it very quickly. Now, unless you tell me that I need to go back and watch it again, which I'll do.
It was, as a big Star Wars fan, I watch these. I'd like to watch these other channels that break down, like, you know, this right here, you know, right here. Like, they're so detailed into it.
Right.
And it just kind of helps me enjoy the show more.
Okay.
And I like the longer episodes. I kind of enjoy that. Okay. You know, but 6 episodes too is fun. You know, including like.
It's only 6.
Well, no. Oh. Like some shows I watch on Disney Plus are 6 episodes a season. And then of course the popular Star Wars show we all know is of course The Mandalorian, especially with season 3 coming out, and I was kind of disappointed. It took a while, but season 2 ended in Christmas of 2020. That was just over 2 years ago.
It seems like forever since we saw Luke pick up Baby Yoda and fly off, right?
Of course we saw, and then of course we saw him in Book of Boba Fett about a year later.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but it's still been a while. It's been a very long time.
All right. Well, Caleb is saying Andor had an emotional end. Okay, then I'll do it. Okay, fine.
Yes.
All right, tell me nothing. Tell me nothing, gentlemen. Say nothing. The thing about The Mandalorian, I got a little weary of the side quests.
Yeah, it's kind of like,
enough already.
I need this. Oh, can you do this for me? Okay.
Right.
All right, I did it. Well, okay, then go to this planet. Okay, I'm on this planet. I need this. Can you do that? It's just a repeat. But, it's fun.
Now, my all-time, so far, favorite television adaptation from Star Wars was it last year, that Obi-Wan came
Obi-Wan
out.
was great.
Oh,
It was fun. I enjoyed it.
just it took me a couple episodes to get in because they have a young Leia,
Yeah.
and even though I like Charlie, I don't like all kids.
Yeah.
So having stuff with little cherubic children in it, it kind of like, oh God, can we move on? But Ewan McGregor makes up for everything, and it ended in spectacular fashion, and it was lovely to see him and Hayden Christensen again together.
Yes.
So for anyone out there who hasn't, I big thumbs up from this Star Wars fan. So
I hope they make a season 2.
Any word? Have you?
I've not heard anything. I wonder about what the story would be.
Yeah.
Don't want a repeat of just like Anakin, like you don't want a repeat of season 1 where it's just Anakin hunting down Obi-Wan and then Obi-Wan slashes him and walks away.
Right.
I hope they do something, something we'll like, and something we'll enjoy with Obi-Wan if they do a season 2.
Yeah.
And
Go ahead.
I also look forward to the Ahsoka show, the Ahsoka Tano show. They're gonna have that.
A live action.
I don't know yet.
And she's the dramatic looking Jedi with the stuff coming out her head.
Yeah. She's that's part of her alien race, but she was originally introduced in the Clone Wars and the Rebel shows for all those fans. I watched them. It's very fun, and it was very nice to see a live action Ahsoka Tano and the Mandalorian, and surprisingly in the Book of Boba Fett, which we never thought of. But it was cool.
All right. So when does Mandalorian 3 start? Do you know?
March 1st.
March 1st. Okay. And you're going to be watching, I assume.
Yeah.
Okay.
I will be watching weekly.
Okay. Well, I may rely on you to give me the in-depth recap of all the stuff you miss, because Aunt Sarah I miss a lot sometimes.
Yeah.
So
there's a specific channel I watch out there that does all that. It's great.
Cool.
I love to watch because they break down everything and they think of every single theory you can think of, and it just helps me understand the show more and be, what the fans are really thinking.
Well, and the thing about Star Wars is that it is an immersive, enormous universe. And so there's tons of stories going on and tons of things that connect to each other over and over, you know what I mean, in ways that if you don't know it, it's fine. If you do know it, it's that much more entertaining, I think. So, well, Charlie, I think we've done it. Anyone in the chat have any questions, comments, or funny stories for Charlie?
I saw Mr. Psychedelic Comics talking about the Christmas special in 1978.
Yeah. If you want, have you ever seen any clips of that, Charlie, on the YouTube? Yeah. They sang, they danced. It was. Listen, the 70s were a strange time, Charlie. It's if I could go back in time, kind of the mid 70s, it was weird. It was just weird.
Yeah.
Hopefully they paid them all a lot. Lucinda's talking about the books. Have you read any of the Star Wars books, Charlie? Because I have not.
I think I read one. It's kind of just a detailed version of Force Awakens, and then there's another one my mom and I both read. It was like Rey's story, and it actually kind of revealed the ninth movie's plot of how Rey is the grandchild.
Oh, really?
Because it kind of explained that Rey was the grandchild of Palpatine. So
before you even saw the movie?
Yeah.
Oh. Well, all right.
But
I'll just say about that movie, I don't have that on DVD, and I have no interest in keeping it as part of the Shbab collection.
Yeah. That's what Disney Plus is for now.
Right, exactly. I can watch it anytime I want. So, well, listen, Charlie, thank you for doing this.
Of course, I love to talk Star Wars.
Absolutely, every time. And everybody in the chat, thank you so much for joining us. for this. It's a live dive where, by the way, I'm drinking water. Usually it's a live dive at 5. Charlie knows that I sit here and drink a beer on the internet because what could go wrong? But today it's water and chatting, just talking Star Wars with my nephew. I can't think of anything better to do on a Saturday. So
yeah. And great. I see one more from Comics Fan. It was the Ewoks, The Battle for Endor, 1985.
Man, we are going into the Wayback Machine for the cringe-worthy moments. And that's the thing, you know, when you talk to people who aren't Star Wars fans, so it's sometimes hard to defend some of this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, Charlie. I know you have to go. You have a job flipping burgers somewhere, don't you? So
not for a few hours.
All right. So, well,
I'm glad if we did it at 5, you'd be seeing me in the kitchen.
There you go. Well, we'll have to do it again sometime, Charlie. And I'm going to forewarn you. I am going to introduce you to the Lord of the Rings at some point.
I had to read The Hobbit for school, if you remember.
Yeah, and but the films, the first Peter Jackson movies, are a dream, and I cannot wait to introduce you to that world because I know it's going to shock you, but I have some collectibles from that too.
Yeah.
So, all right, people, thank you very much for joining us, and we will see you around next time. Thanks.